Hi guys, it's Alex with the Salt and Light Realty, and I'm here today with our good friend Paul Witt, who happens to be a home inspector here in Guam, and we're gonna chat about buyer home inspections. So yeah, Paul, can you tell us a little bit about your background and just how long you've been a home inspector?
Let me just start off with, I've been a home inspector for about 12 years here on Guam since we moved here. And the impetus for me becoming a home inspector is that we had a home that needed an inspection. When we first came here, we were going to live on base. It didn't work out, so we needed to get a home inspection for a purchase. And we went with the best guy on the island. Consequently, after reviewing his work and me having to point a couple things out that should be included, because we were living there during the inspection, renting before we bought, it was clear to me that the best guy wasn't necessarily the best that could be available for Guam residents, and that was my impetus for getting into doing home inspections.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing that there really was only one possible inspector, and I think the people of Guam deserved more and better, and that's me.
Yay! So you weren't a home inspector prior to?
No, I was not, but I had been in the industry. I had a loan signing business in California, so basically it's a glorified notary public, so I was familiar with the escrow side of things, title side of things, and the mortgage side of things. I was also a realtor for 1 year and a mortgage broker for 1 year because, again, as a loan signing agent, I wanted to be familiar with that whole aspect. And me being here, not able to do loan signing, realizing that there is a need for more inspectors, that's when I decided to become an inspector, and that was getting my certification through InterNACHI, and then maintaining that certification, which is a requirement to do online education, continuing education units, as well as pay them money each month, which of course everybody wants that.
We love that,
Yeah.
our dues.
The dues, yes. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's awesome. So what exactly do you do as a home inspector, and why is a home inspection important for both buyers and sellers?
A home inspection is nothing more than a snapshot in time. It tells me the condition of the home at that day and time that I'm inspecting it. All I'm doing, I'm there to make an assessment of the home's condition at that time and then relay that information. I'm there to observe and report discrepancies, and primarily those issues that would impact somebody's ability or desire to buy a home based upon those discrepancies that I find, how they may impact the value of the property, either perceived value or in fact real value. But it is an important aspect that I think more buyers should take advantage of. It blows me away how many buyers actually go ahead and don't get a home inspection simply because they think it's an extra cost. You're looking at investing $500,000 or more on average. $500 should be a small amount that you make to invest in that. My tagline is inspect it as if I were buying, and that's the God honest truth. I am actually living there for the period of time that I'm at this home inspection, and I'm testing everything, not just tertiarily. For example, a sink. Everybody looks at a sink. Oh, it's a sink. It's got a faucet. It's got a drain. Turn it on. It works, and it drains.
Yeah.
That sink is a lot more to me as an inspector. There's so many aspects of just a simple sink. I can't imagine inspecting any other way. And after having done over 1,200 inspections at last count, roughly, there really is no way to inspect and do shortcuts. That's why it blows me away when I hear inspectors were there just for a couple of hours or 2 or 3 hours. I'm like, I don't know how you can get the information necessary in that period of time. My average inspection will go on for 6 hours. That's the average inspection. 5 to 6 hours, I say. Sometimes more, rarely less, unless it's a small condo, 1-bedroom condo, where there's less to inspect.
True. Can you walk us through a typical home inspection process, and what are the most common issues that you would find during an inspection?
Okay, hit me with that second question after we go through
Okay.
So the first thing I'll do is I'll go and I'll get an opening shot. Then I'm going to go ahead and just do a glance over everything. Just sit there and look at everything. That's just kind of soak it in. Then I go straight to the utilities. I look at our water supply. That's our hookup, our services, water services, and what type of electrical services that we have coming in. And from that point, I'm going to go do the general exterior grounds and fencing, gates, and motorized gates, and the slope of the ground, the drainage of the ground, how all that's made up. Then we do the general exterior of the unit, including all the components and systems, and electrical, how things are attached to the home. For example, ACs, are they attached properly? Anything that would be out on the exterior of the home, including the entryway and the rear patios or side patios. Then we go to the interior. It's a general interior inspection. Bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchen, laundry, garage, electrical. That's my flow. The single most common
I think I know the answer.
Is what?
Roof?
That's right. The single most common issue is roofs. Here on Guam, we've got a unique climate.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough on building envelopes. Fortunately, we live in concrete bunkers. They're really nice concrete bunkers, but they're concrete bunkers nonetheless. You have to take care of it still. And I tell people there's two things you can guarantee about concrete. It's gray and it's cracked. It's just the nature of the product. Since we know that's going to happen, whether it's microfissures, if they've done the roof properly, it should be okay. But it's still, you're going to have moisture coming into that concrete because concrete is a dense sponge. That's probably number one. Next issues are plumbing issues, primarily in the bathrooms and the kitchen, because those are the areas of the home that are used most often, where you actually are using items and components. Electrical comes after that. Electrical.
How should a seller prepare for a home inspection?
Oh boy, something I wish all sellers would do is, first of all, clean their house. It blows me away again that there's people that are selling their homes that are just filthy dirty. I've got to be crawling around in your house. If I'm crawling around and feeling dirty, I'm not feeling comfortable, and that's just going to change my mindset about the whole house. So as a seller, clean your house so that I feel better about being in your home, because a frame of irrespective, I'm there to observe and report. But I'm more likely, this is a psychological thing, I'm more likely to be a little resentful for somebody that doesn't care about my health. Yeah. So I'm going to maybe not necessarily be more attentive, but I may just include the fact that the house was filthy and it was unsanitary. And nobody wants to see on their report that this was a filthy, unsanitary home. So clean your home is number one. Make sure all of the batteries for all of the remotes, that's another one of my pet peeves. I can't tell you how many times I go to turn on an AC and it's like the battery is dead, or I press the button and the screen flashes blank. Change the batteries. All right. It's just not that big of a deal to change the batteries.
And it's there in your little...
Everything that I need or expect is in my email that should be disseminated. That information should be disseminated to everybody involved. But yeah, change your remotes, clean your house, or change the batteries on the remotes, clean your house. Keys to everything, have that available. If there's different keys for each typhoon shutter, put them in the appropriate typhoon shutter. Because again, I'm inspecting as if we're buying there. If you are a seller and you want me in and out as quickly as possible, which should be your motivation, you don't want me hanging around your house any longer. The longer I'm there, the more I'm going to find. But make it easier on me so that I don't have to sit there and search each key to find the shutter key that corresponds to that shutter locking mechanism, because I'm going to test them all. Any that I can, as many as I can reasonably get to. Again, it harkens right back to I want I want to know whether or not these things are able to be secured or not. So keys to all the doors, all the bedroom interior doors, all the typhoon shutters, exterior doors, sheds, and padlocks. That's another thing. I'll go and I can't test a gate because there's a padlock on it. That's generally rusted or corroded to a point where you can't even stick a key in there. Think about these things.
Those do get very corroded
Yeah.
here. I've seen even like newly renovated or new construction homes where it's already rusty
Yep.
at the time of the inspection, which is typically at the beginning of the escrow period.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to prep our home, but yeah, those are the biggies to me: clean, batteries, and keys. Yeah.
Good stuff. So, what tools and technology do you use during an inspection, and how has technology changed the way you perform inspections?
The tools, I think that's something that sometimes I every time I show up to an inspection, I've got a bunch of bags with me. They're all full of tools, all sorts of different tools. And the tools that I use, there's general hand tools. I can't take really too many things apart. I'm not allowed to dismantle as per the InterNACHI standards of practice. But I try to get into everything that I can. If I see something that will warrant me to unscrew something, I'll unscrew it. So a screwdriver. But the single most important thing that I use are those devices that are going to lead me to potential problems. GFCI tester, electrical outlet tester, current detector, ohm voltage meter. I have a gas sniffer. We've got moisture meters. I've got 2 different moisture meters that I use. I use infrared thermometer, which is a handheld thermometer, as well as infrared thermography, basically a FLIR. That's forward-looking infrared, but it's an infrared camera. Basically, it's a picture thermometer. So it tells me where there's hot and cold spots and what those temperatures are. That's my primary tools that I use, but the single most important is my camera on my phone. That has my report writing software on there. I dictate into that software as well as take pictures. That way I can go ahead and turn around and provide a report generally within 24 hours of completion of the inspection. And that's what I tell all my clients, generally within 24 hours, up to 72 hours, workload dependent, or the number of discrepancies that I find will lengthen that. And I think that is the single most impactful portion of the technology, is having your report writing software in the palm of your hand, rather than take pictures, make notes, go home, and then
Have to
do
sift
that.
through
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And if you're doing that, then maybe I can see spending a little less time at an inspection. But right now, I spend the time there. I'm working on the report as well as doing the inspection, because it's all there. As I'm walking to my next whatever I'm going to be inspecting, I'm dictating into the report, and the report writing software is putting it down so that by the time I'm done with the inspection, I can spend as few hours at home as possible on that report, so that I can turn around and get that report to the clients in quick fashion.
Nice.
Yeah.
How detailed is your inspection report, and what kind of information does it include?
Okay, let's pick that one apart. How detailed? I would say my reports are as detailed as they need to be, to give you all the information necessary to make a decision on how this home's gonna meet your needs, or impact your budget, for example. I'm covering everything. Every aspect of that home and that property is included in the report. So that's where I again go above and beyond when necessary. But again, all the information will include the exterior envelope, the grounds, the fencing, the AC, all electrical components, interior and exterior, your plumbing components. And often I'll refer to my discrepancies that I find on the report that be referred to further evaluation by a licensed professional. Because again, I'm there to observe and report. I don't go into how it should be fixed generally, or how it got that way, or what could be impacting. I could just say, this is the problem.
Like I've seen in your reports you put if something's a safety
safety,
hazard
yeah.
or...
Okay. So a safety is a safety, is a safety.
But I'm saying like you just note it.
Yeah,
like,
I note it as a safety issue.
Yeah.
And people say, well, how unsafe is it? It's unsafe. I don't differentiate how unsafe it is.
Yeah.
It could be really unsafe or it could be mildly unsafe. There has to be a certain amount of common sense used. If we see two wires that are reported as live sticking out of the wall, that's really unsafe. A GFCI that has failed is also going to be listed as a safety issue. Which one's more unsafe? It has to be indicated. As an inspector, they're both unsafe. Fix them both. To me, I don't care. If you want to call and talk about it and we can prioritize over the phone, but in writing, again, it harkens back to I'm there to observe and report. All right? We don't go into much more detail than that. Bottom line is the most important things that we're looking for in an inspection are safety issues, or things that can become a safety issue, or structural issues, or things that can become a structural issue if not attended to.
So what are some common myths or misconceptions about home inspections?
I think the biggest one is that a new home doesn't need to be inspected. The best homes that I inspect are 3 to 5 years old that had conscientious homeowners that had an inspection done and took care of the discrepancies that first appeared at that initial inspection and maintained the home. Those are the best homes. The next are new homes or homes that are 10 years old. They're pretty much the same in the number of discrepancies. They'll just be different discrepancies. So that's number one, that new homes do not need inspections. And I prepared for this because there's so many I want to kind of try to highlight. Yes, there's no pass or fail on a home inspection. I don't look at it as passing or failing. If we were to go by that metric, if there's something wrong, then it failed. All right. Every home, no matter what, is going to have some issues. So that I work with realtors. I don't work with realtors. Realtors are not something or somebody that I'm in concert with. I'm not going to be able to negotiate on your behalf. I'm not going to be able to do anything of that sort. My job is to work for my clients, the buyers or the sellers or insurance companies. There's a number of people that utilize my services that I offer. That you have to share your report with the insurance company. I recommend you don't share that report with anybody like the insurance company or the mortgage broker where they may have a say, unless they're requiring it or they're paying for it. And there have been some instances where that's happened. And you know, just understand you don't need to share that report with the insurance company or the mortgage broker. You don't need to share it with the seller, for that matter. It's not required. You can even just highlight those aspects of the report and send them over. Generally, when you include the report to the seller or the seller's agent to share with the seller, you're going to have a better response than you would if you decided to not share, especially if you want things done. Understand also that if you want things done or taken care of by the seller, you may not get the same level of service if you had hired that person out yourself. And it's something else to think about too.
Yeah, I do tell my buyers that whenever they do get a home inspection and there's some discrepancies that they want taken care of, I really, you know, if it's something as simple as like, okay, the hinge in these cabinets are whatever, like, okay, fine, the seller can take care of that. But if it's something like the roof or anything major to them, right, because each buyer is different, I always just recommend, like, maybe we just ask for a credit because
that's generally a better route, because what are they going to do? They're trying to sell the home, get maximum profit, so they're going to go with the lowest bidder. And
And quality is not going to be a big issue to them.
No, they just want to get it done so that it passes the inspection.
Yeah.
And technically, I can say something can be done, and it's done. It's been corrected. Has it been corrected the best way possible?
That's subjective.
That's right. I will know. And that's another thing is when I go back for re-inspections, I'm pretty harsh because I've seen a repair done where it's like,
come on.
You just like on what really?
I've seen those. I think we've had a couple.
We've had a few now. I'm like going, what did they really think? I mean, they've seen obviously my report. They've seen the level of detail that's in the report, and if you're gonna bring it up to that level.
What are some major red flags you look for that could indicate serious problems?
Serious problems. In the 12 years that I've been inspecting homes, there's been only a handful, less than a handful really, of what I would consider homes that shouldn't be lived in. That are deal killers. I'm looking at things harder when I see the exterior
isn't really
when I see a home that's been well taken care of, I know that that's a common settlement crack. When I see a home with heaving and settling, we've got crap walkways, we've got exterior cracks that are offsetting this one. I'm like, oh, so we've got some issues. And again, that's why it's important to address those discrepancies that I find in a report, so that your house doesn't become that house that I inspect and I'm going, oh wow, this is a hot mess. The biggest issues that I am looking at, and it harkens back to those few houses that I say weren't worthy of being lived in, is cracking. We have something that happens here often. It's spalling. Spalling is where that metal, that reinforcing rebar in the concrete that give it its structural integrity. Once that fails, it's going downhill. In the beginning, it can be primarily cosmetic in nature, but if it's neglected, and I'm going to see that the house condition is indicating that these cracks have obviously been neglected, there's other issues and it's going to go deeper. It's just that's the big red flag. But fortunately, again, there's not a lot that can't be repaired. It's just a matter of time and money. And then that harkens back to what each individual buyer's needs are and budget. You may find a home, and this happens often. People will ask me, do you think this is a good deal, Paul? I don't know. Is it a good deal for you?
Okay, so what advice do you have for first-time home buyers regarding inspections?
My inspection. Okay. Well, if you're going to get an inspection from me, I'm going to say don't get discouraged by the sheer volume of discrepancies that I find. You hired me to find these discrepancies, all right? It's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time. Call me up. If you don't call me, we can't talk about it. Find out from me by having a conversation with me and or your realtor, if your realtor is good, and we can prioritize those aspects that are important.
Okay, so with that said, how can sellers address potential issues before listing their home?
The easiest way is to hire me for a pre-sale inspection. It's the same price, and I can tell you this much. The few times that I have provided a pre-sale inspection, the buyers were satisfied with the content of the inspection, and they looked at the seller as somebody with integrity, and they're willing to open the books, so to speak, on their home and say, here's what we found from this inspector. Here's what we went ahead and corrected. Here's what we're not going to correct. So the buyers are feeling warm and fuzzy already. They're buying from somebody who cares. They've taken care of the things that they can take care of, and they've said, here, the rest is up to you if you wish to go ahead and take care of those items. I think the best thing that a seller can do is get a pre-home inspection, and that's a plug for me.
So how many pre-inspections have you done with sellers?
Less than 50, probably less than 40. And that's of only over 1,200.
12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. And that's pretty sad, in my opinion. Because sellers, again, they're in the mindset, maximize the profit. Look, if your profit, if you've had this home for 5 years and you're going to turn around and you're going to get $100,000 net in your pocket after all costs, what's $500 for an inspection, which is the average inspection price, $500 to $550. I'm not the cheapest, but I'm certainly not the most expensive, but I'd like to think I'm the most thorough. I tell clients, look, if you're able to even just save money as far as the purchase price, if you're able to save the cost of my inspection, you're way over and above anything, because just having the inspection report itself is going to let you know what you may have to plunk down in the future. So to have that is just an added bonus.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it could be a powerful tool in negotiation.
Absolutely.
So.
I don't say that you're not going to use me for negotiating.
Yeah.
But you certainly can use the report for
Yeah.
negotiations.
Okay, so are there specific factors or common issues unique to homes in Guam that buyers should be aware of? I think we touched on that a little bit.
We really have. One of the biggest things is, so we live in a very moist, hot, humid environment. That promotes microbial growth. If we have a bunch of microbial growth on the exterior, we're going to have a bunch on the roof. That promotes the holding of water because of the microbial growth, which accelerates the degradation of the roof coating or the coating on the siding. Roof coating, it's really important because that's expensive and the most important aspect of your exterior envelope and where you're going to get the most amount of water in. So yeah, it's, yeah.
Okay, Paul, it's time for your shameless plug.
Okay. Well, I'm not good at it, but we'll try. I'm way too humble. I'm not, no hubris there at all.
Okay, so what should someone look for when they're choosing a home inspector?
Somebody who doesn't wear flip-flops or shorts when they show up.
You're wearing flip-flops today.
Yeah, but I'm not inspecting a home. Somebody who's thorough. Somebody who doesn't care about the realtors. And many realtors will tell you just how much I care about them, including you. I don't care. Somebody that doesn't care about the realtors, they don't care about the builders. They care about only one person, and that's their clients.
Whoever hired them, the seller or the buyer. And that's who your duties to. Strictly.
I have a fiduciary responsibility to nobody else other than my clients. Yeah. And you as a client, don't be looking at saving $50 or $75 or even $100 on a home inspection. You're going to get what you pay for, hopefully.
And are there any specific credentials or certifications that are important to look for when choosing a home inspector?
Here on Guam, we're not required to have any local credentials. So there's no Guam certifying or Guam board that covers us. So it's the Wild West here. If you want to find somebody that's qualified, I would say go with an InterNACHI or a NACHI certified inspector. That's, at least you know that they are trained and they're required to do continuing education to keep up their membership. That would be the bare minimum. Do your research too.
So, final thoughts. Do you have any tips or advice for our viewers regarding home inspections?
Get a home inspection. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, get a home inspection and get a certified home inspector to do the inspection. Do research. If you can, get recommendations. 95% of my business is word of mouth from other buyers, believe it or not. There's very few realtors that actually will recommend me. Sometimes they'll throw my name in the hat and they'll say, here's 3 inspectors, you choose. But but it's surprising how often that doesn't happen. But most of my business is from referrals from other clients.
That says a lot. We recommend you all the time. You're in our template for home inspections, which is why I'm sure you get do you get a good amount from this?
Yeah, I mean sometimes, but you know, it's always up to the buyers.
Yeah, what we do is we put a few and we encourage them to do their own research, say a little bit about why a home inspection is important, you know, in an email, and let them make the decision. I never really say oh, just go with this guy.
Yep.
If it's anybody, right?
And you shouldn't, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And let them decide. I wouldn't want you to say, go with Paul.
Yeah.
You know, you can say he's a bit more anal retentive, which is true. That way, you know, but let them decide.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, get an inspection. That's single most. It's really the amount of money that you're spending
can't compare to
the value that you're getting. Yeah. I say to many clients, there's price and there's cost. You know, my price may be a little bit more, but it could cost you a lot more in the long run by not going with me. Yeah.
Or even getting a home inspection.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. So, if our viewers want to use you as a home inspector, how can they get in touch with you if they have further questions or need a home inspection?
The easiest way, shoot me an email. I always get the emails. I will always respond to every single email, and I usually try to respond that same day. If you call me, if I'm in inspection, I won't answer the phone.
Well, if for some reason they can't get a hold of you, I think they can always call me too.
They can always call the realtors,
and
yes.
Then I can
email me, paulwitt67@gmail.com. If you want to talk to me, we can arrange through email to set up a conversation over the phone. I do WhatsApp. WhatsApp is another way too. Phone via WhatsApp and email.
Okay.
Or your best realtor.
From the Salt and Light Realty.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing all you know about home inspections. And
my pleasure. I'm glad I could help. I hope it's helpful to other people.
Yeah,
really
I think we had a lot of great information. So looking forward to our upcoming inspections and
yeah. We got one this Friday. Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
You're welcome.